Hello students, so we are studying this chapter light, shadows and reflection, and in the last class we have studied about light and sources of light. Now in this class we are going to study about transparent, translucent and opaque object, and also we are going to study about propagation of light. Now coming to the transparent, translucent and opaque objects. So different types of material transmit light differently, means light travels through a material differently. So based on the way they transmit light, materials can be divided into three categories, that is transparent, translucent and opaque materials. Different types of material transmit light differently, means light passing through a particular material differently, means each material can differ from each other because they can transmit light differently. So on the basis of that, there are three categories. Either it can be a transparent material, translucent material or opaque material. Let us see one by one. Now coming to the transparent material. So materials that allow light to pass through without significant scattering or absorption are called transparent material. First of all, understand the meaning of scattering. Scatter out means get distributed into different directions. Okay, absorption means get soaked or by particular material, that absorbed by particular material. So coming to the transparent materials, so materials that allow light to pass through means that type of material through which light can pass through it easily without distributing into different direction, without absorbing by that material. That type of materials is termed as transparent material. Means that type of material through which light can pass it clearly or totally without much scattering or absorption, that is called transparent material. For example, clear air, clear glass, clean water, some kind of plastics and cellophane paper. I think all of you have used this cellophane paper. So that through that cellophane paper you are able to see that behind side very clearly. Okay, so this is called transparent material. Why we are able to see it clearly? Because all the sides, even the back side of that cellophane paper, it is because all light is passed through that cellophane paper, and due to that we are able to see it clearly. So backside clearly. So as you can see here, that is a clear air. Air is also a transparent material. Even the clear glass, clean water, some kinds of plastic, and even the cellophane paper. These all are what? These all are transparent materials. Okay. Now coming to the translucent material. So materials that allow light to pass through them but scatter or diffuse the light as it passes through, that is a parallel beam of light comes through in all directions, are called translucent material. See, in translucent material, when light is coming from any object and passing through the translucent material, that all amount of light is not going to pass through it. Some amount of light get scattered out, means get distributed into different directions. Some amount of light get absorbed, and they're not able to pass, all the light will pass through that particular material, and that material is known as translucent material. Means in translucent material, partial amount of light is passed through it, not the whole rays are able to pass through that material. So translucent material get scattered out, some amount of light get diffused out, some amount of light, and some amount of light will get absorbed in it. So materials that allow light to pass through them but scatter or diffuse the light as it passes through, means the parallel beam of light comes through in all directions, and when it passes through that particular material, get scattered out, means get diffused, get divided into different directions. So this type of material is called translucent material. That is why an object cannot be seen clearly through a translucent material. Suppose that if we will use this butter paper or frosted glass, as you can see here in this picture, we are not able to see the face of this person. Why? Because it is a translucent material, because some amount of light is going to pass through it, and some amount of light gets scattered out into different directions. That's why we are not able to see the backside clearly. While in the case of transparent material, we are able to see it very clearly, because all amount of light is passing through that material. That's why. But in the case of this translucent material, an object cannot be seen clearly through a translucent material because amount of light, some amount of light get diffused out and very small amount of light is passing through it. That's why we are not able to see from it. So examples of translucent materials are butter paper, frosted glass, paper smeared with oil, and smoked glass. These all are what? Translucent material. Now coming to the opaque material. So that is totally different from this transparent, just reverse of the transparent. Materials that completely block light are called opaque material. We will not be able to see through these all materials at all. So materials, that type of materials which block the light, through which the light cannot pass through it. When it blocks the light, it reflects all the amount of light. Light will not able to pass through that material. That material is known as opaque material. We will not be able to see through these materials at all. Are you able to see with this dice? No, we are not able to see through it dice. Even the tree, even this apple, because these are opaque material. When light fall on these materials, light get reflected back. No amount of light is passing through that material. It's able to enter inside that material and pass through it. So that type of material that completely block the light, block the passes of the light, are called opaque material. For example, there are lots of examples of opaque material like metal, mud, cement, coal, wood, even the book, pencil, pen, even chair. These all are what? These all are the opaque material. Through these type of material, light is not able to pass through it. Okay, so like metal, mud, cement, coal, wool. A mirror is a very good example of an opaque material. An ideal mirror does not let any light to pass through it. So mirror is also an opaque material. That's why we are able to see image there. It is opaque material. When light falls on the mirror, it reflects all the light in a certain direction. That's why we are able to see our image in the mirror. So mirror is also an good example of an opaque material. So these are the different examples of opaque material and opaque material. And this is about the opaque material. Now coming to the one activity, that is how we can able to classify material as transparent, translucent or opaque. So materials needed like different materials such as clear glass you have to take, like you can take cellophane paper also, frosted smoked glass, paper, wood or source of light. So for classification of these materials, whether it will be a transparent, translucent or opaque material, first of all we require a source of light, because that source of light is able to emit light, and that light, if that light will pass through that material, then it will be a transparent. If partial amount of light will pass through it, then it will be a translucent. If it will block the passage of the light, then it will be a opaque. So now what you have to do, that hold each material against a source of light, like you can do with your electric bulb which is there in your room, or any bulb. So you have to hold that material just against that source of light and see if the source of light can be seen clearly from the back side of that material. If you are able to see the source of light clearly, then it will be a transparent. If you are able to see the source of light partially, means not clearly, then it will be a translucent. And if you are not able to see that light, source of light, then it will be opaque. Such like, for example, when you hold a book against a source of light, against a bulb, you are not able to see that bulb. So that, what will be that book? That book will be a opaque material. When you take that cellophane paper against that source of light, you are able to see that cellophane, bulb very clearly, and that will be a transparent. When we talk about the smoked glass or even the butter paper, we are able to see the partial figure of this source of light, and it will be a translucent. So in the case of the different material like clear glass, frosted smoked glass, paper, wood and source of and these materials, so in that one, this clear glass will be a transparent material, while frosted and smoked glass is a translucent material, while paper and wood will be a opaque material. Now coming to the propagation of light. First of all, understand the meaning of propagation. Propagation means how this light travels, what kind of path it takes to travel from one place to another. Let us see about propagation of light, how it travels. Usually light travels in a straight line. When light travels, it always travels in a straight line. It's not going to cover the curve, path and all. It always travels in a straight line, and this property of light is called rectilinear propagation of light. Because light travels in a straight line, so that is called rectilinear propagation of light. When we want to represent the propagation of light with a diagram, we represent it with the help of rays and beams. Suppose in physics, when we talk about this chapter light, shadows and reflection, we have to make some image and all. When we have to represent a light or a ray, then light with a diagram, then we take a help of this ray and beam. We represent it with the help of rays and beam. Now coming to the ray and beam. What is this ray and beam? So a ray is a line with an arrow that shows the direction of the propagation of light, and such a diagram is called a ray diagram. So ray is what? Ray is a line with an arrow. As you can see, it is a line with an arrow, and that shows, this arrow shows the direction of the propagation of light. Means light is traveling in this direction. Okay, so where this arrow is there, in that particular direction, light is traveling, light is propagating, and such diagram is called a ray diagram. Now coming to the beam, a group of light rays moving in an organized manner is called a beam of light. So what is beam of light? Means beam of light means group of light rays that is moving in a organized manner, moving in a particular path in an organized way. So it is called a beam of light. As you can see here, a beam of this is parallel rays. As you can see here, the parallel rays are there, and they're moving in an organized way, in a parallel way it is moving, and it is a collection of a light rays that is moving in an organized manner, that is called beam of light. So a beam of parallel rays is there. A beam of rays coming from the point source of light. This is a source of light through which our light rays are coming, and it is coming in an organized way, that is called a beam. Okay, that is a beam of rays coming from a point source of light. So this is about the propagation of light. So thing is that here, that light always travels in a straight line, and this property is called rectilinear propagation of light. Okay, and when we have to represent this light, then we will use these two types of diagram, that is a ray diagram and about beam. Okay, so till here we will study. So today we have studied about different kinds of object like transparent, translucent and opaque object, and also about the propagation of light, means how this light travels. Here are some questions which is based on what we have studied today. Try to solve it, and I hope that you have understood this chapter and this lesson what we have studied today. Thank you.